Okay, well, everybody, welcome to session number 2 of the Woodlands Area Business Summit. And today's session will be on shaping stories into success, understanding branding through storytelling marketing with Amanda Wood with Avail Marketing. Amanda specializes in building relationships with people across organizations and businesses. Through her business experiences, personal endeavors, and philanthropic desires, Amanda decided to become a business owner in the summer of 2015 and created Avail Marketing, LLC. Amanda strategically works with clients to create or further develop their marketing efforts to increase sales opportunities. Her clients range from startups to large corporations. Whether big or small, Amanda wants all of her clients to feel as though she is an extension to their team and business. Each business had its own unique story that was communicated to its customers. At the end of the day, it is that story that gets the handshake and the deal. Amanda believes every person in business has a story, and those who carefully craft the story into branded messages will be successful. Please welcome Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for the warm introduction. I am very excited to be here today. Let me get all my stuff kind of shuffled around. And what a great day we are having today. Is everyone having fun so far? Good. I'm, like I said, super excited to be here. It's going to be a great day. We're going to hear so many great stories today, but I am primarily going to be talking about storytelling, as we said, but it's understanding why it's important, understanding branding through storytelling marketing. So talking about this, going through our agenda a little bit, just our topics that we're going to talk about today. So not only just storytelling, but why? Why is it so important? And there's actually some science behind this. And then WIIFM. Oh, sorry.
I forgot to do one thing. Yes. All right.
Audio.
And then I move it. Sorry, not to move it.
Okay. You want me to try something?
Over the slide.
Okay. Well, we'll just start over. Is that okay? Are we on Zoom? Everything's good? No, that's okay. That's okay. So cut. That didn't happen. Starting over from scratch. All right. So we are all set today. So we are understanding branding through storytelling marketing. So did you actually know storytelling is as old as time, yet new stories are told every day? So talking about my belief a little bit, my belief is that every business, every brand, every person actually does have a story. It's how you craft that story into branded messages that really is what makes you successful in business. So now we'll go through and talk about topics that we're going to talk about. So about the why. It's not just what storytelling is, but it's about the why that makes it so important. And then there actually is science behind this. And we're going to talk about what WIIFM means in case you don't know yet. And then we'll go through the steps to storytelling and the different types of stories that you can tell. And then the different parts of the story. We're going to go through some real life examples today. And then we'll talk a little bit about Avail marketing. And I have some bonus tips for you. And then we should have time for some questions. Can anyone remember a good story told by a brand? Anyone at all? Feel free. Anyone? Yes.
Well, I guess the story of like Southwest and how they started, is that what you're asking?
Well, so what makes it memorable to you is what I'm curious about, because we all, identify with different brands and different businesses, but what stands out to you on top of your mind from Southwest?
Just because I remember hearing about how they started as like on a cocktail napkin in the bar kind of thing.
Yeah, there's so many businesses that start that way, but you wouldn't know that story unless Southwest delivered it. If they told it, they could choose not to tell that story, right? But you doing that resonates with you and you remember that. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I have from the Hallmark commercial where the older lady's going out to her mailbox and gets the card and it's excited that somebody remembered her.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many memorable stories. We remember those advertisements, those TV ads that they just play through our heads, especially right now during the holiday time. There's so many things that happen. Yeah, so great stories are told today and every day by all of us. Storytelling, it's not intended to be a selling tool. It's a method of building strong relationships with your customers and a thriving community of loyalists over time. Your story identifies what your passions are and serves as a foundation for all of your future content developments. This quote said so much to me, kind of summarized my whole presentation up in one little quote. So thank you, good night. Just kidding. But what it says, to break it down a little bit, it's about building strong relationships. That's what you're doing when you're storytelling. You're connecting to your audience. And what you do when you do that is you build a thriving community of loyalists. Wouldn't we all just love to have loyalists behind our company, our brand, and who we are that we can count on again and again? I'm sure we have those, but could you imagine if every one of your customers did that? It identifies your passions and it serves as the foundation of all of your content. So why storytelling? First and foremost, it really is the oldest and most effective communication strategy known to man. You can create stories for any type of marketing, brand marketing, direct marketing, and even cause marketing. For brand marketing, think Nike. I think when we talk about a brand, that's probably the most common brand thrown out there. Direct marketing, credit card companies, there's so many companies constantly getting at you, constantly in your face. And not to say it's in a negative way, but it's directly marketing to you. What's the message? They're just delivering it to you in a direct way. And then cause marketing, most commonly used by nonprofit organizations. Dove Soap also uses it. And it's about making that connection emotionally and then analytically. And it's so important to think about and understand this from that order. And that's the science behind it that we're going to get to. So I told you there's science behind it. It may sound silly, but there is, because it's when you're communicating through storytelling, you're dealing with human behavior. We as humans make decisions more often on logical decisions rather than rational decisions. But in business, when value exceeds the cost by just 1 penny, that's when the transaction occurs. So this graphic, to explain it for a little bit, it's really powerful. Do y'all ever remember when you're a child and you're kind of sitting on the edge of your desk, you're hearing a story, and you're just at the edge of your seat and you're so enthralled in the story just every moment? You know, when we're all kids, we're sponges. We soak up information like a sponge. That's basically neural coupling. And then mirroring is simply acting. When we act by observing someone else, you start mirroring those behaviors. And dopamine is released into your brain when you hear when you have an emotionally charged event that occurs. And it makes things easier to remember. And the cortex activity is when areas of the brain are triggered by well-told stories. So our brains are built with compelling stories to connect us through compelling stories. And this graphic here, it kind of talks about a what if this, then that scenario. I don't know why it seems like it's shaking a little bit. And I will be honest, this is from 2017. So just imagine what these statistics would be today. But to go through it, 100,500 digital words are actually consumed by the average citizen every day. So if that's true, then what do you do from a marketing aspect? Keep it short. And I think our society has gotten shorter and shorter as our attention spans get shorter and shorter. We constantly seek that instant gratification living in this digital world that we're all in. But, you know, that's okay. Take it and use it to your advantage. You can have longer videos, but then also you can create shorter ones too that are, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, getting your point across. 92% of customers want brands that make that have ads that really make them feel a story. It's telling you right there, they're asking for stories. 92% of people want it. So in your marketing, it's good to keep it clear, concise, and simple. Get your messaging through. And we process images 60 times faster with images versus words. So what does that say? It's saying, don't tell me, show me. You know, they want images, and I think we all remember back, well, now images are so relevant and how many more social media channels that we all have out there. But I don't know if anyone remembers back in the day, Facebook used to not even have images when you would post. It would literally just be like a stream of messages back and forth with someone. I love seeing those in my memories. It really makes me laugh when I was in college and I'm like, hey, how was your weekend? Talking to someone. It's so funny. But imagine if that was our feed today in Facebook. Would we even use Facebook, to be honest? Would you just want to be reading more in life? I think images really speak a lot. The important thing to remember is what's in it for me. And I don't literally mean you as the marketer. What's in it for me? This is what your audience wants to hear. What's in it for them? So, oops, sorry. Simon Sinek developed what he called the golden circle. And what it is an inside outward approach to marketing. So instead of just delivering your information as, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Start with your why. Why are you seeking this person's time and attention? That could potentially be costing them money somewhere else by working, doing something, making money. Why are you trying to grab their attention and their focus for that 30 seconds, minute, hour that you're here today? How? How is what you're delivering, your messages, how will this help your audience? And putting the value side in that. You need to add value to your content. And then what? Then you get into the what. What are you offering? The first two of these, the why and the how, that's when you're emotionally connecting in the brain with someone. The what, we all think about the what on our analytical side of the brain. So if you take this approach, what you're really doing is getting that emotional side and connecting with them and building that relationship, and then you're selling them on the what side. So this quote says, market with people, not at them. You want your audience to think you can't be without your product and service once they become aware of it. When I was doing research for this, I came across this quote and it just stuck out to me because I think we're so enthralled in media, in the world and social media and all the ads. Facebook used to not have ads, now it has ads, you know, and everything else has ads. And, you know, we're constantly marketed at, but market with them is the important thing to know. So going into the 3 steps of storytelling, the first one is define your core message. What is your why? Decide what kind of story you're going to tell, which there's several different kinds. We're going to go through those in a second. And then you want to establish a call to action. A few of them could be, some examples could be simply follow your YouTube channel, visit your website, join your email list, or just buy your book. Only one of those actually involves making a purchase. I keep skipping ahead in my little pamphlet here, sorry. I'm getting too excited. But the biggest thing of all, the biggest takeaway is take action. You need to think about when you're delivering a message to someone, make them take an action at the end of it. It doesn't have to be a big action, it doesn't have to be, you know, now sign up with me and spend $1 million, but it just needs to be one small step to engage with your brand. When they engage with your brand, you are allowing them, or they are allowing you, they are allowing you and saying, yes, I want to build a relationship with you. Yes, I'm going to allow you to engage with me again. And then eventually you can convert them into a customer. So there are 4 different types of stories we're going to discuss. The first one is called a personal message story. This kind of story is great for personal brands. They often tell personal stories. We heard a lot from Josh a little bit about his personal story. And the second is incite action. They're motivational stories. They get people to take action. The third type is convey value. If others believe in the same value as you and have the same values as you, they're more likely to relate and follow you. The last kind is an educational story. These are great for MLM, multi-level marketing kind of businesses. And it's simply what their strategy is behind it is to engage, hook, and then execute. So I say that with multi-level marketing businesses because a lot of times you want to educate your audience, and people buy into multi-level marketing businesses because they believe in it themselves. So if they believe in it, say you do Beachbody, you work out at home every day and you use Beachbody app. Well, you pay for this, but then also you start to get really into it and you want to show other people how to do it. You get really good at it, so you buy in, you start becoming a trainer and telling other people how to do it. And then the best storytelling, or one of the best, all of these can be used for any kind of marketing. But I think when you are that type of person, your strongest thing will be to educate. So you should be sending, doing a quick video of how to do the perfect pull-up, because there's so many people who don't know how to do a pull-up or can't do a pull-up, including myself. But you can show them proper form. In fitness, form is key. And so that's so great. That's just one reason why MLMs. But then you could also share your personal message, your why. Why did you get into the business? Inside action. There's this huge sale going on. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you the story. Convey that value of how great it is to be working out at home. What's in a story? It's pretty simple. Your character, your conflict, and your resolution. But we're going to go through these. The first is your character, which is your audience, right? We've talked about that. But the important thing is to understand your audience. Be able to anticipate their wants, their needs. What do they want from you? And to do that, you really want to think about your buyer persona. And who is your buyer? What do they do? What kind of field of business are they in? What kind of lifestyle do they live? Are they busy working? Do they travel a lot for work? Maybe you'd want to do a radio ad. And if they're in the car all day, if they're a salesman in the car traveling in oil and gas, all around Texas. So, but then also from this, you can develop your tactics. So once you build your buyer persona, you think about it and seriously write it down, think about who they are. And then this relates to your marketing tactics, the how you're going to do and how you're going to market to them with doing the ads on the radio and things like that. So you can choose what type of social media channels are they on, because those should be the type of social media channels that you should use for your business. It's not necessarily about what social media channels you feel comfortable with or that you use personally. It's about your audience and what they use. So think about, there's so many different examples I could give, but a real estate agent, an interior designer, these are very visual businesses. So what I tell these people, these individuals, is when they ask me what kind of social media should I be on, I say, well, what is your business? What are you going to show them? Well, I'm going to show them through a house. Well, yeah, so you need to do something that shows pictures and videos. This was a little bit more relevant a few years ago, but I would definitely tell them, if you're going through a walkthrough through a house, well, you need a YouTube channel because that's going to help with your SEO. A lot of people don't have SEOs. They just simply use, Facebook or Instagram, and they load their videos there. But why not also create a YouTube channel or put them on your website through a YouTube channel and all tie it to that? You want to bring people back. So anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself and talk about what kind of social media. The next part of the story is your conflict. This is the lesson that your character experiences during the journey, but think about it in a way of their need. What do they need from you? It should inspire your audience to engage. And if you think about it, if there's no conflict in a story, you're really not telling a story, you're just pitching. So an example of this would be an electric bill and Nest. If, like I said earlier, if you travel a lot for business, you're gone all the time, you work in Houston, you're gone for 12 hours a day, you can't adjust your thermostat. So a Nest is that quick solution to that. And that's such an easy thing that shows the conflict of what you're dealing with, of that you're home and you can't adjust your thermostat, your electric bill is skyrocketing, and the Nest just keeps it even. It seems pretty simple, right? But showing that conflict and showing Next would be the resolution. The Nest is the resolution to that. So the purpose of the resolution, every story needs an ending. It doesn't have to be a fairy tale type ending, but it just needs to wrap up the story in some form of fashion. It fulfills the purpose of why you're telling the story. And then what you need to remember is it spurs them into action. Don't forget that CTA. So putting this into context, the Dove Self-Esteem Project, I love this project. I actually remember it as an example from when I was in college many years ago. It's been around since 2004. And their mission is helping young people overcome body image issues by fulfill their potential potential by building positive body confidence and self-esteem. We're gonna watch a little video here, so bear with me for 1 second, please. Oh, let me just.
Yes.
We had it. Okay, there we go. Sorry. We had it all ready to go. Let me start it over. Do we have sound? Let's test this and see. Is it? Let's see if this is working. Sorry, we definitely need sound, especially for the next video. Yeah. I have no idea. How long is the program should go way up to that now? Here. That just minimizes. This is a touchscreen.
Click on the sound on.
Oh, here we go.
Try that right there. Try that.
Okay. Sorry. Yay. Thank you so much. We got it. We got it. We're all good. It was on the computer. Thank you. Okay, so now let's watch this little ad from Dove. No. In case you couldn't see the very end, because it's somewhat bright in this room with the large screen, it says the pressure of social media is hurting our girls' self-esteem. More screen time during the pandemic has made this even worse. And I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I can certainly relate to it with my daughter who's not terribly young. She's older than 13 that they focus on in this group, but I can still relate to it. They had an amazing statistics that says 80% of our girls are retouching pictures by the age of 13. Can you believe that? I mean, even that they have the capability to grab an app and figure out and know how to add makeup and make their faces look skinnier and all that. I just think it's incredible. So this really sparked something in me. And to go through, I do want, for both of my examples, I want to go through and kind of define the parts of the story. So I don't know if you'll want to participate, feel free to shout out who would be the character of this story. Young girls under the age of 18. And the conflict would be their self-esteem. That's what the issue that they're dealing with. That's the need. The resolution would be helping our girls with anxieties and negative body issues. These poor girls are hurting with negative body issues. So what does Dove do? They didn't have to do this campaign, right? They sell soap, they sell all sorts of product, but they see the need to do this. And so their call to action, they have amazing calls to action. If you go to their website and check it out, I would advise you to. They have conversation guides for parents. A lot of us parents don't know exactly how to talk about, especially this sensitive topic with girls, because you don't want to offend them. You don't want to say the wrong thing because they're so sensitive, especially at the prime age, you know, 13 and younger. And this goes for older girls as well, I'll say. They also have school workshops for educators. They even have kits for youth leaders. So they're really kind of covering a vast array of people who can really have the tools. They have it right there on their website. You just download it. It's literally download here and you've got those resources you need. I just thought this was such a compelling story, and it's one of the many strategies Dove is doing. This is an insight action story, right? We can all quickly, it spurs us into action. We want to go help our girls, go to dove.com and figure out what can we do. And, but that's just one type of storytelling that they're doing. And if you go to their YouTube channel, you can see they have dozens of videos of testimonials of people saying their personal messages, their personal stories. It's really, really powerful. So next we have Warby Parker. They have been around since 2008. If you're not familiar with them, they are a glasses company. And their mission is to inspire and impact the world of vision, purpose, in style. So the video that we're gonna watch on them, do this the right way this time. This is their personal message story.
So, you know, I think the best businesses solve real problems, and the beauty of business school, where we're constantly talking about business problems or even our own sort of consumer challenges. Dave happened to be complaining about losing a $700 pair of glasses at Seaport of an airplane about a couple weeks before school had started. Jeff similarly had a pair of glasses that were in desperate need of replacement. Andy sort of mentioning, like, why isn't anybody selling glasses online? And this, why is it such a pain in the neck? And this was in winter sort of 2008 when Zappos was demonstrating that you could sell shoes online, which nobody thought anybody could do. It was when Blue Nile was starting to sell rings and fine jewelry that nobody thought could be sold online. And prior to school, I run a nonprofit social enterprise that training low-income women to start their own businesses, giving vision tests and selling glasses in the communities in the developing world. So if there was one thing that I could personally talk about, it was this. And we just, the four of us got super excited when we started to actually take classes that we thought could be helpful as we explore the idea. So the business was like a perfect environment for this.
Tell me about the name, because we have a lot of clients that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in surveys and they come up with some crazy names. Just one of our clients,
Yeah, so at the time there were less than 1% of the classes were sold online back in 2009. But there were some sites that were selling classes. Some of the biggest ones were $39glasses.com, mybuyrect.com, framesdirect.com, that really focused on price as the key differentiator at the expense of customer service, quality products. So, and we wanted to build a business where our customers wouldn't have to make any sacrifices, that they would get the highest quality products in a convenient way, but at a value that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to just compete on price, and we wanted our name to reflect that we're actually launching a fashion brand, and that design as a core part of our offering. And so we wanted a proper name to connote the fact that we have this brand, and I think a couple of women follow really rolled up. So we spent a lot of time talking about authors or artists that we felt are the brand ideals, including the Beat Generation in particular. And coincidentally, the New York Public Library had an exhibit in Jack Kerouac's private journals. So I went to that exhibit and even written about characters with interesting names that have made it into these names published works too, that caught our eye in particular were Warby Pepper and Zach Parker. And so we decided to combine the two and make our own. And the URL is available for $9.
I love the end talking about a URL, because who doesn't love to find a URL that they already have in their head for the price they want to pay, the best price. So this story is so great because it's, you know, 4 guys, they're in business school, they don't exactly know what they want to do, but they've got a real conflict, right? Their conflict is one person loses his glasses, and then they're talking about all these stories about why are glasses so expensive. And so there's your conflict in your characters in your conflict. People not wanting to pay $700 to $800 for a pair of glasses, right? But then, I'm sorry, yes, that's the character. And then the conflict is that glasses they're just too expensive. So what do? Well, these guys, their resolution is threefold. They created a way to buy or create and sell inexpensive glasses, like the ad showed, less than $95. And now they actually offer contacts, in case you didn't know, something I learned from this. And you can purchase them online. Back in 2008, when they started, this wasn't happening. And so you could get inexpensive glasses online. And plus, they offer a give back program. For every pair of glasses that you buy from Warby Parker, they give a pair for free to someone in need who needs them, which is so great. And that's just part of their message. They actually don't talk about it here. They probably do. I had to cut this clip. They probably do later on, but it was really interesting. And I also saw another video of people talking about that their story of how they came about actually inspired their people to want to work for them, because it was so good. You know, you don't have to do that kind of buyback program, but they thought it was important and they wanted to do that, so they did. I think from an HR standpoint, that's really powerful, right? Because their story, by them telling that story, they're not only inspiring to their audience, their customer base, but they're inspiring to other people to come and want to work for them as a company. So when I was a child, when I was a kid, I loved art. If you gave me a picture, I could probably draw it. And then as young kids, teenagers, some of us don't always make the best decisions in life. So in high school, I was blessed to become the mom of my daughter, Alexis. So my passion for art had to transition. I had to transition, figure out what was I going to do. And I wanted to transition into an avenue of business. And so I went to school, as I knew I was going to do. My parents weren't going to give me an option not to. And ended up graduating, actually started at Lone Star College. I'll say that since we're here today. The one in Kingwood, back in the day, it was called Kingwood College. And I transferred over to U of H, graduated from U of H in a degree in PR. So after that, I worked for several businesses, moved to the Woodlands in 2010, and worked in the corporate world and marketing. And then I really got involved in the community. I met some of you here today, straight from the nonprofit community in the Woodlands. We have such a great nonprofit community in the Woodlands. It's amazing. So I saw that and I wanted to give back myself. And I started volunteering, I should say, volunteering for them and sharing their stories, telling those stories of American Cancer Society, the Heart Association, Canopy, so many great places that we have here that I volunteered for. And that really inspired me. That, and I will say, when I was working in corporate, I was the only marketing person that we had in the US. And so I was often sitting at the table with the president of the company, and I would listen to him all the time. And I would just sit and listen. I was quiet the whole time. And I would soak up his stories that he would tell, like that kid with a sponge. And he would tell the story of Swire Oilfield Services, where I worked. And that's what he did. And it was amazing. And that really is what got me thinking about storytelling marketing. So several years later, when I started the business, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what it was going to be about. I wanted to tell the stories. I truly believe every business, every person has a story. It's just a matter of how you tell that story in an effective way. And so this gives you a little bit about what I do. I really like to focus on the strategic side of this. Storytelling really has a lot of strategy that you have to put inside of it. And then it helps you develop your strategies and your tactics. It doesn't have to be a story about your company. It could be a story just for a campaign, building a story just for that campaign and what you want to do. But thinking about those things, literally writing them down is what helps you. And it'll help you develop your strategies and tactics, your what and your how are you going to do this. So I definitely do the one-off kind of things. People ask me, do you do logos? Do you do graphic design? Can you build a website? Yes, yes, yes. In business, we learn to say yes, you do it all, right? And I do. I don't personally code websites, but I work with people. So I like to say we. I have a team of people that I do work with. But the story, the strategy, and everything that I develop with the customers, we develop it together. And then creating your strategies and your tactic behind it is just what you do afterward. And then that's what compels you into your marketing plan. And so I think that's enough saying about Avail. My bonus tips for you today. The art of storytelling is making sure you empathize and relate to your audience. So it's important to understand who your audience is. Think about your buyer persona, go back to that, think about them. People want to be entertained. Entertain them with your stories, right? We all live in this digital world where we're pulled in so many different directions. We just want to scroll on Instagram and Facebook, so entertain them. Make sure you have that in your stories as well. Your characters should be relatable and your story should be relevant. Think about what's going on in the community. Think about what's going on in your lives and everything with the girls and self-esteem and pandemic. And we all live in this, this digital world, the online world here. Think about that. Can you relate that back to your business? And make your characters relevant though as well. I love to tell my clients, clear, concise, consistent messaging. Those 3 C's are something that I try to live by. It doesn't have to be this long narrative of lots of fluff. I like to try to keep the fluff out, but build excitement, build a story behind it, but still try to keep it clear, concise, and consistent messaging. If you're building a campaign, you need consistent messaging once a week, once a month, or once every day, however often your messages are going out, but it needs to be all consistent back down to that story. And lastly, whatever you do it well. I say this a lot. I developed this because people would always ask me, what social media channel should I be on? I do Facebook, so can I use Facebook? Well, yeah, you can use Facebook, but what are your buyers on? Think back to that. What did they use? That's what you should do. But don't feel that you have to be on every social media platform. There are so many that I know Miss Jennifer's going to talk about very soon in the social media part after this. So don't feel like you have to do it all, but whatever you do, do it well. And I got ahead of myself here. So thank you all so much for your time. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Thank you.